Side line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second.
Ladies and gentlemen, we return with the iGPFun Super Formula Lights from round 7 at Misano. And once again, I'm James Parfitt, and once again, I'm going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Alex Goldschmidt here this evening, I should say, this morning. Blimey, I'm losing time already. 34 laps of action. Purple zone right the way around, or magenta zone round to turn 6, which is no active overtakes. If you're looking at the track map, it's the long bit on the left-hand side, the double right-hander that they cannot overtake through here as well. Let's bring you up to date in the championship. Luca Varani out in front on 227. Andy Flint on 212. Anthony Jimenez on 210 with Kevin Swemshaw on 190. Dennis Cornell on 181. Then you got Simon Frelick in 6th with Lee Aberdeen, who's moved up places after his win last time out at Kota. Then you got Marla Morden, Robert Ridgway and Paul LeMay rounding out the top 10. Jakob Oleswinski, Stefan Dodera, Jacques Willems, Raheem Hakeem and Richard Van Veen rounding out the top 15. And behind that is Ludovic Rancon and Costas Tenebrao, Nagayan, Patrick Williams and Ben Goyette, who round out the top 20. Obviously, we only cover the top 20 at this moment in time, partly due to the fact there's 64 drivers that have scored points. And, well, I'll be here forever if we was reading all 64. We have just come to the end of qualifying. We got 26 drivers in this qualifying session at this moment in time. Some have not set times. Koji Ito at the bottom there as well. Dara Machabavanga has also not got points. John McKenzie and Stephen Brown with Richard Van Veen not got points on the board as well. This is where Darren DMs me and tells me that I've said his name wrong on that one. So if that is the case, Darren, please hit me up and let me know. Let's bring Alex into the booth. We're here again, Alex. It seems like, you know, me and you for the second time out of the 3 this evening. We're on together. And this time we've got Super Formula Lights at Misano.
Yeah, Misano, a really, really lovely track in my honest opinion. It's going to be... there's going to be a lot of flat-out racing, but especially coming out of turn 6 into turn 8, and then you've got Corvoni at turn 11, where you've got to have the cojones. No rhyme or reason there, to be completely honest with you, but to put one round the outside, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, you look at who's already won races already. Lee Aberdeen and Simon Frelick have both got 2 wins apiece, but Varani has got a lead of 15 points coming to this 7th round. So we're at the halfway point of the season. There's still Interlagos, Suzuka, Jerez, Imola, Nürburgring and Hockenheim to round out the season. So yeah, we haven't got as many cars as we would probably normally see on an iGPFun event, but of course there have been those that have been watching the Mexican Grand Prix at the moment, which is just as we're talking has just finished. No spoilers for those that don't want to know.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it'll be quite interesting. I mean, Kevin Swemstra's put it on pole position effectively. We've got the likes of Tony Jimenez, Jakub Oleszewski, Denis Cornu, Giovanni Celito, and Ben Goyette from Canada, still out on track at the moment, but the server's going to time out very, very shortly. And yeah, Swemstra's going to be taking his first pole of the season. I mean, already we've had Greg Zeitz, Lee Aberdeen, Rahan Hakim. Lee Aberdeen's actually taken 2 pole positions this season. Simon Frelick and Maxence Fieve, and then now we add Kevin Swemstra to that list. It's been unpredictable when you look at the amount of drivers that have already taken a pole position this season and those that have yet to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the good things here as well. Let's bring you up the grid, ready to show you who will be where. Kevin Swemstra will be on pole position with Lee Aberdeen in second place and Simon Frelick in third. Tony Jimenez fourth, Jakob Bolozwinski in fifth, Mackenzie Roon in sixth, Luca Varani, championship leader, down in seventh. Never won a race and not had a podium all season, but leads the championship. Dennis Cornu in eighth and Stefan Dodora in ninth, Robert Ridgway in 10th. Then you got Bart Jan van der Laan down in 11th. And then in 12th place is Andrew Brunton. Then you got Giovanni Salito, Zoltan Zamora, Paul LeMay, Nguyen, Michael LeMay, Patrick Williams, Ben Goyette, Lewis Archer, Reno Scatini, Stephen Brown, and Darren Machabavanga in 23rd, then John McKenzie down in 24th, and then Richard Van Veen and Koji Ito at the back there as well. It is Machabavanga, isn't it? I think it is.
It looks like it to me, yeah. So, but of course, traditionally with iGPFun Super Formula Lights, it's a good old standing start.
It absolutely is, and we are going to be up and running very shortly. We will have, as I say, 34 laps on there as well. Luca Varani doing Luca Varani things and keeping consistent and just keeping it on the board. As I said, not had a podium all season, and yet leads the championship as well. So fair play down to Luca Varani. I think turn one is going to be very, very interesting indeed here. We'll wait for the lights to come up and then we're going to get the action up and running. So hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. Get your drinks, get your popcorn, because you're going to have a lot of action taking place very, very shortly. Lights are coming on now. There you go. They're at the top of the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. Rayon 7 is green, green, green. And Swemstra does get us off the line. Simon Frelick tucked in behind at the moment. Lee Aberdeen should be taking that position. He does at this moment in time. As you said, no active overtakes until they get down to turn 6, which is Curva del Rio. The double right-hander is as they come out of Curva del Rio, that's when they're allowed a race. But at the moment, it all very single file, very liney. Swemstra's opened up the door. There's no speed limits. They can go as fast as they want. And ladies and gentlemen, they're free to overtake now as well. Kevin Swemstra leads the way. Lee Aberdeen, Simon Frelick, Tony Jimenez, Olezwinski, Mackenzie Roon further back there as well. He's having a go. Jakob Olezwinski, Tony Jimenez side by side with Olezwinski. Mackenzie Roon tucked him right behind there as well. Great battles on the way down to Curva Romano. And at the moment, it's Tony Jimenez and Mackenzie Roon having great side by sides here, Alex. But it's been a good start for Kevin Swemstra.
Yeah, Swemstra's got a lead of nearly the best part of a second as Frelick in the wheel tracks of Lee Aberdeen. Of course, Mackenzie Roon for Get Good Racing trying to go through round the outside at Carvoni at turn 11 on Tony Jimenez. He's going to be hard on the brakes into the next section and has to wait for the opportunity for him to get past the Spanish driver as they now head through into 14-15. Into the final corner here at 16, and then it's going to be across the line to complete the opening lap out of 34. But look, Kevin Swemstra's already galloped away. He's 1.3 seconds up the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for Swemstra, he did what he had to do. He got away right at the beginning. Frelick is going to put pressure on Aberdeen all day long for the whole of the 34 laps. We're on lap 2. You can see Frelick trying to go around the outside into Curva del Rio now. Is he going to make it around a double right-hander? It favours Aberdeen. It has favoured Aberdeen. He opened up the steering. Aberdeen could, Frelick could not get through on this time, but we're on the run down now into the left-hander. This long run down. This is going to give Frelick the option of taking around the outside. He isn't. You can see in the background with Jimenez. He's having a go at the moment of up the inside of Olezwinski, not making it through, locking up brakes and ends up losing a place to Mackenzie Roon. So unfortunately for Jimenez, he went for one and lost one.
Yeah, that's not exactly what the Spaniard had in mind for the SRP racing team. Of course, Jimenez now new colour scheme. Remember the black and bright green as Frelick trying to go around the outside. This is at heading into turns 12, 13 and 14 is Frelick trying to get the undercut. He's trying his best, but Aberdeen's just white lining it. Loses a little bit of traction, does Aberdeen, coming out of turn number 15 as they head into turn 16 once again. But yeah, I mean, the thing is that Aberdeen and Frelick, because they're battling away, Swemps just nearly doubled his lead after the opening 2 laps, and here comes Frelick.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to make that move down into the right-hander of turn 1, whereas Aberdeen is not there at the moment. Frelick's free to take the line, gets the job done, and moves himself up into second place. Aberdeen actually went off the side of the circuit. He actually went off. He's lost 5 places. Diddley Aberdeen. He's now alongside Tony Jimenez, not far behind Luca Varani. Let's have a look here. As Frelick takes... Oh, Aberdeen slows down. He's got to slow down. And I can tell you where that happened there for Aberdeen. It was through the right-hander before they got into Curva de Caro. He ran a little bit close to the curbing and ended up taking that too much of it, and a slowdown was needed there as well. So we're going to see if we can get this back to live pictures. That would be absolutely amazing, and at the moment it's not going back to live pictures, so bear with me. There we go, we are up and running once more. So great action taking place here, and even more action I'm sure to come.
Yeah, Oleszewski trying to put the frighteners on Frelick, the 2 Polish drivers from rival teams, being followed by Mackenzie Roon, who we've known in iGPFun history has been at the sharp end for a lot of the times that we've been racing. Of course, when we used to run F3s, now running Super Formula Lights. Very different animal in its own perspective. The feeder series to Super Formula, the top tier of single-seater racing in real life in Japan. But yeah, I mean, Kevin Swemstra now has a 2.3 second lead. Simon Frelick, new fastest lap of the race, 1:26.874. There's Oleszewski for the Modern Racing Prince GP team, rounding out the top 3. Roon, Aberdeen, Jimenez, Varani, Dennis Cornu. Then we've got Ridgway and Dodra from the Netherlands rounding out the top 10. Biggest gainers at the moment, Patrick Williams from the United States up from 18th, now runs 14th. Richard Van Veen up from 25th and is just on the shades of the bottom part of the top 20, ahead of Scotland's John Mackenzie in the number 42.
Yeah, Luca Varani tucked in right behind him, and there's Dennis Cornu there as well. Gainers on the left-hand side, Bartjan van der Land, Machabavanga, and Brown and Ito. Now, we can let you know what happened there to Darren. Unfortunately, he got a slow down. He took too much curb, then spun it round. Now, did he have damage from his earlier incident? Oh, no, he's in pit lane. Did he? He didn't.
Well, he didn't hit him, Stephen Brand. Goji Ito did not make the grid in time, so Darren had to start from pit road.
Yeah, Michael LeMay is at a moment here. What did you do?
No, that's not what you want.
No, absolutely not there, unfortunately for him. Let's see if we can get this back now to live pictures. It's looking like we are not able to get this back to live pictures once more. As well, it just looks like it just does not want to go back here, so that's great from our part. Excuse me while I bring up the UI once more, because that's the only way I can get it back to live pictures. Luca Varani, Tony Jimenez having a battle once more, and you can see Varani in on that one, and I'm wondering, we'll try and stay on board here with Varani, and I'll try and show you where I believe Aberdeen may have got the slowdown from that really cost him on that last one. And it was going through, he took the right-hander here, and then unfortunately down at Tomato, I'm wondering if he got it up at Covorne there, because it seems to be the only place that he should be able to get a slowdown, which really cost him, unfortunately. It's now put him in 5th place. Don't forget, he was battling in 2nd at one point with Simon Frelick, and I think he took too much curb here. He cut too much of that, and then he ended up with a slowdown. And also, I believe if he did another one, it would have been here. It was probably actually more there and here that he ended up getting too much of a curb on that one. They've just gone round. Mackenzie Roon. Yeah. Was there contact?
Yes, there was. Yeah, Oleszewski contacting with the left rear, and it spun Mackenzie Roon into the kiddie litter. Yep. He narrowly avoided the barriers, though.
Yeah, he did there as well, and he now goes into pit lane Mackenzie Roon. We're going to have to keep replays to a minimum at this moment in time. We are back to live pictures this time around. Lee Aberdeen in there with Oleswinski, Tony Jimenez tucked in there as well, and these guys having a nice little battle for second place. You can see Patrick Williams is not...
That was not... Zoltan Zamotor went off, so the 747 went flying. Williams has lost his front wing.
Oh, there was definitely contact.
Yeah, that was...
There was definitely contact there.
I think Williams said on behalf of Zamotor, 747 cleared for takeoff here from Misano.
Yeah, absolutely, because he literally just jetted off the left-hand side here as well. And we're back up live and running now. Tony Jimenez in here with Luca Varani. And you can see Jimenez with Dennis Cornu alongside Varani. He's just in front of us in his traditional green helmet. Jimenez has got the inside through the right-hander coming down into Curva de Caro. The long right-hander here as well. Back round you go, and on your bike once more into Curva Misano. Luca Varani sitting in 5th place, Mr. Consistent almost all season.
Yeah, Luca Varani's taking a chip off of Alan Prost's playbook at the moment, you know, not having scored a win and having still a 15-point advantage coming into the midway point of this particular season of iGPFun. So, you know, it's all about those little gains. You know, if you can move up a position, if you can move up into 4th place, that's going to help him no end. Jimenez and Cornu battling away over 6th. They've got Ridgway, Dodder and Brunton rounding out the top 10, and that is a very, very, very close battle. When you look how close Jimenez is to the back wing of Varani, but then Cornu is waiting for the opportunity to strike. The Unity Racing driver, I think looks like he's got the Venom Pedals sign. I recognise that on his side pod. So, obviously Venom being a French pedal manufacturer for sim racing, notably have links with Romain Grosjean.
Oh, there you go. Thanks very much for that. I didn't know.
So, something you learn new every day.
Well, they do say if you learn something new every day, you do die a very, very wise man. And at the moment, Andrew Brunton is leading off on Stefan Dollerat. And Brunton's trying to chase him down at the moment. Dollerat, of course, in our famous Buzzing Hornets livery. Replica of the Jordan F1 team. Of course, if you know, you just know what it's supposed to be on that one. But Jakub Oleswinski now with Luca Varani and Tony Jimenez. It's this kind of battle in the middle that is the situation going on with it. It basically, this is where the battle is. Jimenez, Varani, Cornu. You can see Oleswinski and Aberdeen not too far apart either, and they're having a great little battle as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see, as always, iGPFun has more than its fair share of close quarter battles, and we're getting them in spades here tonight at Misano. Of course, some people might see this as a bit of a bogey round, but, you know, when you've got a circuit that provides a lot of commitment, a lot of skill, you've got to be nigh on millimetre perfect to get around this particular circuit here in Italy. You know, it's mainly known for its MotoGP racing, also known on GT World Challenge. But of course, single-seaters don't always visit this part of Italy. And of course, the circuit named after the late Marco Simoncelli, MotoGP rider. Yeah, it's got a lot of history surrounding it. But you know, you're seeing this battle between Aberdeen and Oleswinski really heating up. Frelick is catching Swemstra like a bad rash at the moment. He's 3/4 of a second behind in closing.
Yes, at the moment, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get... Swemstra did what Swemstra had to do. He bolted off right at the beginning and got away with it. And now, for obviously Frelick, he's just kind of almost like a dog on a prowl. He's just trying to chase him down. He can see him, which probably helps with the speed situation, because obviously for some reason that nobody's really figured out, when you can see the driver in front, you do drive quicker. And that, I think, is where Frelick's at the moment. And this battle could come within the next couple of laps.
Yeah, we're not even halfway through this race. We're not, you know, we're on lap 9. We're not on lap 17 out of 34 quite yet. So The main thing is that it's about how Frelick just keeps that pressure on Svenstra. Now, you look at it from this perspective that Aberdeen has taken a couple of wins, Frelick has taken a couple of wins. Svenstra hasn't won one yet, has he?
No.
So Svenstra's going to want to make it a different winner this season going into the second half of the championship.
Yep. He's going to want to try and get on the board there for Svenstra. He's had a second and he's had a third, but he's never had a victory. So Kevin Svenstra there is going to try and hold on and a bit defend like an absolute lion here once more. And Lee Aberdeen trying to do the same thing from Oleszewski. Obviously had that moment and slowed down and then lost 5 places, I think it was, and then moved himself back up. He's now sat in a third. And Dennis Corley there as well. Ben Goyette and Richard Van Veen have having a nice little bit of a ding-dong, both from MRP, of course, so I'm sure there's not too much fighting going on. John McKenzie is further down here with Giovanni Solito, and of course Michael LeMay and Lewis Archer, who came to contact once before. It is still Archer in front of LeMay, but this battle is getting closer up front.
Yeah, Frelick's got that gap down, he's more than halved it, and he's in the toe. That's quite crucial now for Simon Frelick. They're going to head into turn number 7, and then you can just see how much tighter and how much more aggressive on the curbing Simon Frelick is at the minute as they're going to head into T8. So yeah, now we've got this real good run of opportunity here for the Polish driver in second, the Dutchman leading the way. And now they're going to go through into Curvone. Frelick's going to have the opportunity of a run and possibly go late on the brakes into turn 13 coming up shortly. Oh. He's going to dive to the inside. He's going to go for it. He was not all 4 wheels off track, but Svenstra still keeps it round the outside. Heading into turn 14, puts the anchors on, and Frelick's got to do it all over again.
Yeah, he's going to have to go once more. It looks like he has got that run, though, hasn't he, through that top part of the circuit, through Curvone and down into Curva de Caro, and he is looking quick. As Svenstra wants to hold on, he's got to try and hold on there. If he can make it over these next couple of straights, he might be all right. Into turn 1 he go. Not a slow right. 1:26.450, but from Aberdeen and Oleszewski together, both getting the lap times. That is the first time I've seen both people get the same lap time, the same fastest lap at exactly the same point. And I've been doing this for about 3 or 4 years now.
Well, the funny thing is that according to SDK Live Timing, Oleszewski has got it, and Aberdeen was literally probably slightly slower on the 4th decimal point, because it's come up with 1:26.451 on our live timing. So Aberdeen and Oleszewski matching each other up pretty much on lap times, and Frelick is still not giving up the ghost. Svenstra's got a real lot of pressure coming to him from the Polish driver from Hydra Race Racing Forces, who's not giving this up by any stretch of the imagination.
No, but
Frelick wants the 3rd win of the season.
Yeah, but this is the moment now, isn't it? This is where Frelick shows that he's got pace through this top part. He's got to commit. Svenstra's going to try and do the same thing again. Svenstra carries a lot more pace into Curva de Caro. Is he going to be able to hold on? He is. He's going to have the inside run through the next couple of corners down into Curva Misano at the moment. Svenstra's got to be big and brave, and he's not. Frelick did make it happen. We called it earlier. We said Simon Frelick through the top part of the circuit has got a lot of speed. That run out of Tremonto through Caverna down into Caro, and he did it there. He showed us what we were talking about, and he's got a lot of speed there. Aberdeen this time got the fastest lap of his own, 1:26.255.
There you go. It just, I think now Kevin Svenstra will feel a little bit of relief, may breathe a sigh of relief as well, in the fact that he does not have to put pressure on himself to perform. But now what he's got to do is he's got to start fighting back, where you know, we're over a third of the way through this race, so it could be the case that if Frelick has taken too much out of his tyres, then Svenstra might have an opportunity. But look who's behind them. Lee Aberdeen has been closing in. Of course, you mentioned about the new fastest lap, 1:26.255, and this gives Lee Aberdeen the perfect opportunity to go for a possible 3rd race win. I think it could come down to Frelick, Aberdeen or Svenstra that will be the winner, but Oleszewski is 2.6 seconds behind. Let's not forget, folks, round a circuit like here at Misano, If one person makes a mistake, it throws them right into the path of somebody else waiting to pick up the pieces.
Yep. And that is always the joys of fighting. Cornu has got, sitting at this moment in time, he has got Tony Jimenez in front. Jimenez is not far away from Luca Varani. Luca Varani is not far away from Olezwinski. Olezwinski now 2.5 seconds behind the back of Aberdeen, losing a little bit of time. Aberdeen is in the draft with Kevin Swebstra, mind you. And now, for Swebstra, he's losing time on Frelick. So he's now got to make a decision here. What's going to be the easiest thing? Fight, defend, get yourself slower, lose time to Frelick, or just let Aberdeen go and see if you can follow him, because at the moment Frelick's going to break away. By the end of this lap, if they're not careful, it could be out 1.8, 1.9 and or even 2 seconds if these guys are going to be scrapping.
Look, it could be this case of when we saw Svenstra being 2.6 seconds up the road by the end of the opening 2 laps out of 34. So now Frelick's got an opportunity just to pull away. And last time he did a 126.5. Swemstra 127.1, 6 tenths. And I'm looking at the sector times. Swemstra just lost out 7 tenths in the opening sector to Frelick, and there goes Aberdeen. Aberdeen waited. He's done exactly the same thing as Frelick, kept it to the inside, and this time Swemstra didn't fight it as much.
He's got, for whatever reason there, when a car gets near Kevin Swebstra, out of Curva Tremonto and up through Cavani and down into Curva de Caro, he's got no speed. For whatever reason, for Kevin Swebstra, he can't keep up. Whether or not that's just committing, whether or not that's kind of picking them up and sticking it in your pocket and just sending the car, for whatever reason there, Aberdeen got him at the top, Frelick's got him at the top, and I'm wondering now if Olezwinski can close the gap up, whether or not he'll get him at the top as well. It's going to be a big ask for Olezwinski to close up this 1.5, but let's not forget, last lap around it was 2.3, so it's obviously coming down. Now, is this going to be a hand-up problem from Frelick? Because at the moment, Olezwinski's not just bringing himself. He's bringing Varani, he's bringing Jimenez, he's bringing Cornu, he's bringing all of these people up to the back of himself here. And, you know, if Swemstra's not careful, he could find himself in that four-way battle.
Thing is, you look at Kevin Swemstra's last lap, a 28.0, Olejewski, high 26.7. That's nearly a 1.3 second differential between the two drivers. So the Dutchman's clearly struggling with something. Now, whether it could be top end, whether it could be stability through corners under braking, you're now seeing him shift down into second, taking a lot of inside curbing. Yeah, it just seems that Swemstra's not got the flat out race pace that we saw early doors. I think he just may have taken a lot of a lot of performance out of those tyres very, very early. I mean, after the opening 2 laps, yeah, we did see Frelick, Olejewski and Aberdeen battling over the first couple of laps, you know, for the scraps on the table for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And yeah, Swemstra got the whole shot, got the pole position, got away, but the race hasn't worked in his favour.
No. Definitely not, unfortunately. He's now down into 3rd and being closed up 1.3 seconds by Jakub Olezwinski. And that's the situation on board with Dennis Cornu on the front right there. And as you see, he's trying to chase down Tony Jimenez. Nice little battle further back as well. What's gone on? Brunt has just unfortunately had an incident. Paula May has just been off the side of the circuit. There for the two brothers racing. Where is your brother? Michael's a little bit further down, having a nice little ding-dong with Giovanni Salito. And then you can see Lewis Archer and Mackenzie climbing in as well. And these guys are having a nice little fight further down again. This is down all the way in for 19th, 18th, 17th and 16th. Great little battles taking place further down the order. But at the moment, Jimenez is being harassed by Dennis Cornu, and Cornu's not giving him any room here.
No, none at all. None to speak of, really. And I think at the end of it, it's just going to be a case of who's going to buckle under the pressure first, as Jimenez runs wide out of Curva Misano at turn number 16. So, yeah, Dennis Cornu, the French driver, is closing in on the man from SRP Racing, but there's still going to be that opportunity where drivers are going to have a window to see if they can get through. Of course, the cloudy conditions, obviously fog surrounding the circuit, is going to be, you know, in some ways sometimes taxing for the drivers because of obviously knowing where your braking markers are, and that's easier said than done in these Super Formula Light vehicles.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I think, for these guys. You can see currently, if you look at the cockpit, it's still quite dark out there. It's, you know, it's almost looming rain, and I think that's one of the things, that 21 degrees, 19 degrees air, it is dropping, and it is almost rain weather. It's almost like, are we going to get it within the next 17 laps here? Because currently, we are looking that way. We are looking that it could happen, but when is it going to happen? And if it's going to happen, when is it going to come? Is it going to be soon? But let's not forget, there was a race this season where it rained on lap 12, I believe it was, and we ended up going all the way through, I think it was like to lap 30, and we still had people out on the dry tyres because it wasn't that much as such. So it works both ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a light rain shower, you know, if you're quick enough and there's enough heat in the tyres and in the slick tyres, then you're still going to be able to get around, but you're going to have to be a little bit more cautious, especially when it comes to the curbs, because as soon as rain hits it, it gets wet, it gets slippery, it's like an ice rink, and you want to sort of stay away. Whereas at the moment in time, when we've got air temperature of 19.1 degrees Celsius, 20.5 track, so yeah, the track temperature has dropped over the course of the opening half of the race. We're now halfway through. We're on lap 17 out of 34. And still, we're seeing these battles stabilise. I wouldn't say that they're a stalemate. They stabilise at certain points. But then there are some drivers who are able to keep the tyres within the operating window a little bit better, conserve them a little bit better, and then have that opportunity. So whether Swemster has taken too much out of the tyres and has decided to hold back, and then maybe with 10 laps to go he's able to reactivate them into that operating window again to give them the pace and the purchase. At the moment we have lost Mackenzie Roon, Zoltan Slamotter, Bart Jan van der Laan, Darren Machabavonga, then we've got Stephen Brown and obviously Koji Ito that did not make it to the grid. So still got 20 runners and riders, and nevertheless, even with this amount of drivers, you know, we normally see grids north of 40 plus on an iGPFun race night on a Sunday, which provides fantastic action. We've both been in the booth when we've called some absolute classics, when we've had like the old Formula 3 days, and now Jimenez is going for a move up the inside. That's not Jimenez, that's Michael LeMay on the inside of Archer. And there is Mackenzie waiting in the wings to pick up the pieces. So that's the battle over 18th, 17th, 18th and 19th. And Michael LeMay finally gets through cleanly on Lewis Archer, despite having punted him off earlier on in the race. Yeah.
But they still having a nice little battle down here, and Archer's not going to give it up. I'm not quite sure where Archer's going to go, mind you. I wonder if that's the same Lewis Archer I've known from a different league there on that one. That'd be an interesting thing on that one, especially as he drives for the Cuda Works team. So, yeah, that could be an interesting one for them. But Michael LeMay has made it through. What about John McKenzie? Not this time. Back up front, Jimenez and Cornu seem to be stuck together like glue at the moment here, Alex, and not changing positions quickly.
Maybe they're looking at the longer game. I mean, you look at it when it comes to the championship standings. If you can score sensible, good points, not take too many risks, not incur any penalties post-race, that's going to help your cause no end when it comes to battling away with the likes of Swemstra, Aberdeen, Varani at the top end of the table to go for it. So, you know, there may be some tracks where they just think, okay, well, I'm comfortable at the pace I'm at the moment, but there are some tracks coming up that I know that I will shine at a little bit more.
But what does Cornu do here? He's so close to almost catching up to the people in front. Jimenez is now down below a second, so Luca Varani's coming into the scenario here as well. What does he do? What does he do? Does he sit and wait? Does he hope that Jimenez can get him forward? Or does he see the relative grow, like it has just done by a tenth or 2 tenths almost, Does Cornu then make a decision and say, I've got to go for it?
Cornu's got to go for it sooner rather than later, in my honest opinion. There's going to be an opportunity that's going to present itself where he knows that he's going to be quicker than Jimenez. But looking at that lap times, Jimenez has just gone quicker by nearly a tenth and a half and has just set his personal best. Cornu's best lap was a 1:26.482, and that was quite a time ago. But I think that Cornu's got to be a little bit braver on the brakes, earlier on the throttle, accelerates out of the corners early to try and get the jump on Jimenez and stay in his wheel tracks. That's going to be quite important. He might be thinking, how much longer am I going to be stuck behind this SRP car in front of me? Well, rather than thinking that, you've now got to think of, okay, where are my strengths around this circuit? Where can I brake late? Where can I throw the car up the inside where Jimenez might not be expecting it?
But then if he does that, will Varane get away? That's the catch-22, isn't it, for Cornu? You've got to fight your battles that you know you can win, and at the moment, they are closing in on Varane. Don't get me wrong, it is not a big gain. Last time out, Varane did in fact do his fastest lap with 1:26.46, 1:26.52, 1:26.43. So there is gainage there, but they're doing it not at a rate that I don't know if Cornu's going to be happy with. He's just got to sit, wait, and see what goes on, and see whether or not Varane's tyres drop off or whatever. Don't forget, look at Varane. This is the man who's done, barely 50 laps in practice at this moment in time. Never driven the track before. So for Varane, the fact that he's sitting in fifth, he's doing really well. I think it's probably above his expectations. But at the moment, we're seeing Cornu kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. He knows, Alex, that if he goes and attacks Tony Jimenez, Varane's on his bike. That's it for him.
True, but also the biggest thing now is that Cornu's also got to think about the fact that he's got to try and close in a 46-point deficit between himself and Varane. And then you've also got the big thing about the fact that Svenstra, who was ahead of Cornu in the championship by 9 points, no Andy Flint, no Antonio Jimenez here this week. So that's going to give Svenstra and Cornu an opportunity to close up on those two. To make the battle for second, third, fourth and fifth in the championship a little bit closer, but they'll all be kicking themselves like saying, why didn't I go for this move? Why did I not try and push the envelope a little bit faster? But I think Cornu might be better in some respects looking at it now, and he's 3 tenths behind Jimenez, who in turn is 9 tenths behind Varane. If Cornu saves a little bit and just is not having to worry about using too much fuel, because that's going to be the beauty of staying behind Jimenez. But now Jimenez is having to start to defend because Cornu's getting closer. I think Cornu's close to pulling the trigger and getting past Jimenez, but to minimise the amount of time he loses to Varane.
Yeah, I agree. Paul LeMay is in here as well at this moment in time, and he's tucked up behind Andrew Brunton, and LeMay's going to try and round that outside line. We've seen it work for Simon Frederick. We saw it work for a couple of others. Not working for Paul LeMay down in the Curva de Caro. This is in 11th. Don't forget, this is Paul LeMay, who's sitting currently 10th in the standings and is probably driving above what he was expected, I think, for this season, and he's doing really well at the moment. Tucked in behind Brunton, he's got a truck. Okay, Brunton was there, wasn't there? I'm sure that weren't just my eyes, but for LeMay, it wasn't, was it? I'm sure he just disappeared and come back on me. But for LeMay now, that adds a different challenge, because now he's fighting a car that can Houdini at any minute.
Yeah, exactly, and that could catch Paul LeMay unawares. Of course, we see Paul and Michael in the UK and Ireland Radical Race Series, which will be back in action this coming Thursday for their next round of the championship season, which you and I are both looking forward to because we're on duty for that. But yeah, I think also the fact that Paul having a better run than Michael at the moment. Michael's currently down in 17th, of course, having the, been racing in the radicals, of course, you get used to aerodynamics. Then you go to a proper single-seater, and then you really get a bit of an eye-opener. But Paul just seems to be the one that's weathering it that little bit more at the minute. And as you said, currently 10th in the championship standings on 148 points. He's giving Brunson something to think about, but Brunson's starting to pull that gap away again.
Yeah, he is as well. We all know it's very difficult fighting a car that you're not quite sure where they are. So maybe LeMay in the air, of course, you might be dropping back a little bit. Or, as you say, he might be just losing time. I know Paul personally outside of this, and I know that things don't always work properly for him. So hopefully they will hold up for him to be able to get to the end of this race. But John McKenzie tucked in behind, funny enough, Paul's brother Michael, who's having a fight with Giovanni Salito. So both of these guys scrapping away as well. Through the left-hander, they're coming into Curva Misano, the final corner. Is this going to be Michael LeMay's chance to go and have some fun with Giovanni? This is the deceiving factor of this race circuit, Alex, isn't it? That this run from last to first corner, it's not very long at all. To make anything happen, you've got to be within, I don't know, barely a tenth of each other on that one.
You've got to be within half a car length to make it work. You really have. I mean, like with a GT3, it's a different consideration altogether. You could probably be about a couple of car lengths behind, and then the massive pull of the rear wing in front of you and the rear diffuser is going to help you. But with the smallest surface areas that these Super Formula lights occupy in terms of how high they are, how wide they are, and their footprint, oh, Michael runs a bit deep in that particular part of the circuit, and that just allows Mr. John McKenzie to get through.
Yeah, unfortunately for Michael LeMay, live on camera, he did end up getting it a little bit Pete-Tong. But lots of action still taking place. Luca Varani again has got, he has currently got Mr. Tony Jimenez. You can't really see through that part of the wing. There we go. There he is in the background. The number 11 chasing down the 222. They have managed to get closer to him, but Jimenez has managed to get closer, and Cornu's got further away. And unfortunately for Paul LeMay at that moment in time, it looks like he's just had a bit of a moment here as Paul. That's going to be a curb at some point. What have you done? Here we go. Bumpity, bumpity, bump.
Through the final corner, Curva Misano.
Yeah, and unfortunately around he goes for Paul LeMay there as well. So he did get that a little bit wrong as we try and get this back into live action, which we hopefully succeed in very shortly on that one. But yeah, unfortunate for Paul there, was doing a great job up until that point of where it just kind of all went wrong. But again, you hit a curb and that's going to be the problem.
Yeah, so it is a shame for Paul, but you know that is what it is. And Paul now in 11th position, so Andrew Brunton has had a big old drama in his own right. He's ended up in the pits.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has gone off, Mr. Brunton. Obviously, he was here, which hopefully won't have. Ooh. Did he just disconnect? Nope. Unfortunately for Mr. Brunton, around he went. Keep it off, and then goes straight back into the pit lane not long after. Apologies again for this one, as it just doesn't want to go back to lives. And look at Varani now being closed down by Tony Jimenez. But in the process of Jimenez closing down Varani, he's dropped Dennis Cornu.
Yeah, I think sometimes discretion can be the better part of valor. I mean, looking at the facts of the lap times between Jimenez and Cornu, they're running equal. They're running on 126.5, but a couple of laps ago, Jimenez did a 126.4. Cornu did a high 126.7, so lost 0.3 in one lap to the Spaniard in front of him. So whether Cornu sees this as an opportunity maybe to hold fire a little bit, maybe. As I said, over a 34 lap race, you are going 9.5, 10 tenths, maybe even in some cases, like we've seen with some of the drivers who've made mistakes. They've gone at 11 tenths when it comes to the limit of adhesion. And you know, Jimenez, we've known has been a very distinct rapid quality in iGPFun, even if it was in the Dallara Formula 3s and now into the Super Formula Lights. You know, has been at the sharper end of the field. However, his results, I'm just looking to see where he is in terms of the championship standings. Well, he's a lot lower than a lot of people would actually think. I'm just having a look now.
Jimenez sitting in third.
in third, and yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You know, Jimenez now is trying. Now the thing is that Jimenez is what 17 points behind Varane. Now, if he finishes ahead of Varane, he'll overtake Andy Flint in the championship standings, go second. But more to the point, he'll close that gap to Varane if he overtakes him out on track. That's going to be quite crucial.
Yeah, you know, we're talking about a man here that has not only finished third in season 2 of this year, he finished runner-up in season 3 to Pedro Suarez, and is currently sat in third. Do you know the title of the nearly man? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Sterling Moss back in his Formula 1 days. You know, the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, you nearly did this. You nearly did that. And this is it for him, you know, for Jimenez. It's coming across almost as well like Danny Hamlin in NASCAR. Almost winning the championship. Almost again getting to the championship. Almost in the playoffs, but he just can't get over the hurdle. You know, it's one of them things, isn't it? It's like you're almost. And for Jimenez, for the last 2 seasons, it has been almost. When are we going to see Jimenez, do we think, step up and go, I'm here, I want this, I'm going to get this now? He's going to gain places, he's going to gain points on Flint, clearly, because Flint's not here. But then that goes as a drop week, which isn't going to matter because it's going to be a 0 point. So for Flint, it is what it is. But that's the thing. I think if we were at this stage now and applied 2 drop weeks as they are now, Alex, Jimenez goes down to 6th. He's got to get points on the board here, and he's got to start racking them up. I don't ever want to say Tony Jimenez the nearly man, but third in the championship, second in the championship, and we're sitting third again. He's getting that title almost.
He's got to score more top 3s. He's only had 1 podium at the moment, and that was back at Sebring at round 4. You know, having a lack of podium finishes really does put you under the kibosh, so to speak. And so Jimenez will want to get a little bit of a mental advantage going into round 8 at Interlagos next week. But more to the point, he will want to say to Varane, okay, you might be leading this series at the moment, but let me tell you this, your days are potentially numbered. If he could pass him on track, that'll be a boost of confidence to the Spaniard for SRP Racing Team. And Varane will think, okay, now I've got Jimenez really chomping at the bit, trying to put one over on me, and I've got to do everything in my power. But Varane, with his consistency, you look at his results, okay, no pole positions, no fastest laps, but he's been consistently in the top 5. That is where the majority of the points are made. So if he's been 4th, if he's been 5th for pretty much every single race that he's competed in this season, and he's on course for another 5th place finish, that consistency is going to help him. But obviously with the drop scores, it changes the dynamic when it comes to Andy Flint, because Andy Flint will have a 0 score this time around. And he's already scored 212 points. So going into round 8 at Autodromo Jose Carlos Pachi at Interlagos next week, Flint is going to have the distinct tactical advantage going into the second half of the season.
Oh, I tell you what man is going to need a new pair of underpants going into the second part of the season is after that snap is Mr. Olozwinski. He literally held on to that car very well. Dear sir, take a bow, I'm going to give you that, but blimey, your car did have a snap and a half at that moment in time. Luca Varane currently as well, finishing positions 8th, 6th, 8th, 4th, 5th and 6th. That's what he's had over the season. Tony Jimenez, 7th, 20th, 6th, 3rd, 8th, 10th. A lot more inconsistent from Jimenez, but he's got to do it, and I'm sure he possibly can and get there as well, because I'm sure he doesn't want that title as the nearly man. John McKenzie and Giovanni Solito. Now, you've been having a right little ding-dong recently for the last couple of laps. That time between McKenzie and Solito has come down, but it does seem like anybody that gets up behind Solito does have an incident. Lewis Archer's just gone off. Lewis Archer went off at 26. Paul LeMay went off at 26, and they were all in and around, it was Michael LeMay in and around Solito, to be fair. So you know, hold on, John McKenzie. Let's hope that you make it through on this one. And can you survive the Giovanni Salito? Come up behind me. I'm going to release a banana. Maybe it's like Mario Kart coming out of back of Salito's car there.
Or he might be activating the invincibility star for all we know.
Ooh, you never know.
There you go. There you go. But Mackenzie on the last lap was nearly 0.6 of a second quicker. So Mackenzie, the Flying Scotsman's got some pace. So Salito's got to be, you know, got to have his eyeballs in the mirrors, looking to see where Mackenzie will put himself as they just come through out of Corvoni at turn 11 and into Cove de Caro here at turn number 4, you know, turn number 13. So it's just a case of how Mackenzie places the kart, how Salito responds, and how the situation plays out, because you want to make sure that at certain parts of this circuit, especially coming out of Curve of Misano here at turn number 16, you've got to be very, very careful of not exceeding track limits. And if you get to 17x incident points, you have to do a drive-through.
Let's see. Let's hope none of them get there. You know what I mean? On that one. But, yeah, for these guys, kind of settled down a little bit now. Mackenzie got close, and now he's dropped back again. And now, at the moment, Dennis Corn... Oh, no, it's Robert Ridgway, sorry. With the Buzzing Hornets Dodder there in the yellow. Do love a yellow car. However, Robert Ridgway's livery is looking rather sexy this evening as well. So these guys through Curve and Misano now on that run down the start-finish line, down into turn 1. Over the line they go. 31 of 34. We've got 3 laps remaining. Robert Ridgway there, then Stefan Dodder in here currently chasing him down. We go through the right-hander down into the double right now at the bottom of the circuit, down in the Curva del Rio. Then we're going to come out of the right, we're going to go left, and then we're going to go up that run into Curva Corteccia at the top of the hill. So great little fight materializing, and I can tell you one thing as well, just over the last couple of laps, 126.4 for Simon Frelick, 126.0 for Lee Aberdeen, and this is where we are at the moment. You can see for Lee Aberdeen over the last few laps, he's pulled out time over Frelick. He's got 3 tenths on lap 30, he got 3 tenths on lap 26, and it's brought him in now, Alex, literally 6 tenths back at the moment.
Yeah, so this could be another podium. I mean, at the moment, 2 wins and a second so far for Lee Aberdeen. So this will mean that he'll be the only driver this season that will have secured a place on every single step of the podium. Frelick has come close. He was second at Road America and Spa on the opening 2 rounds, and then won at Sebring and Fuji. Aberdeen took the win at Spa, then was second at Silverstone. So he could be the first person to occupy all 3 parts of the podium, and also be the only... Yeah, that would be quite interesting. He'll have taken winner, second, third, pole position and fastest lap, and done clean swept the board, and would have done that before Simon Frelick. But Aberdeen does not need to be making mistakes like that at this late stage of the race. He's just lost time. No,
definitely. But Lee Aberdeen, he needs to really close in here and close that gap down. But Aberdeen is just setting on his way into the right-hander. Now we're going to be coming through the left, and then we're going to go into Curve Misano. The final corner on this circuit. Lee Aberdeen is not going to get long left. In fact, he's going to get 1 and 1 more here, Alex. And, well, I think if he stays this far back, he's not going to get it.
No, he needs to be a lot closer than that, to be completely honest with you. I think he needs to possibly have the... that car, well, I mean, the thing is that at the end of it all, it's more the case if he needs to be within, I think, 3 to 4 tenths of a second, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think you might be right. On lap 33, I don't think it's going to be close enough, though. That's going to be the problem. And unfortunately for Aberdeen, as they go through the left-hander now, down on the way to Curva Tremonto. And Aberdeen there not getting back. We've lost Lewis Archer, Brunton Rune, Zamota, Jean van der Laan, and Macha Bavanga. Stephen Brown is also out. Koji Ito did not take to the start. The gap is back out at a second. However, this gap is not at a second. This is Tony Jimenez and also Luca Varani. They're still fighting it out. Can Jimenez hang it around the outside, going up to Cavani? No. Can he go round the double right and down into Curva de Caro? He's looking. No for him. And again, is that going to be the move that's going to for us to turn around and say it's game over? I can tell you one thing, if Aberdeen, we've got two Barneys here tonight as well. For Aberdeen, he's only got one more lap and he's just done 1:25.907 here, his fastest lap time of the race. One more lap for Aberdeen. I don't believe he's going to get there, Alex. Jakub Oleswinski and Kevin Swemstra. Not too sure if Oleswinski is going to be able to get there. But it's Jimenez and Varani. Two battles that can materialise, and I don't think the front's going to happen now. Alex has just gone back out to above a second.
Yeah, I think Frelic's got the job done, and that will become his third win of the season. I mean, both drivers vying for a third win in this particular season, season number 4, and yeah, it's just out of Aberdeen's reach. But Oleswinski now trying to close in on Kevin Swemstra for the final spot on the podium. Jimenez I think is now out of striking distance. Yeah, he's gone over a second behind Varani, so there's going to be no change for 5th place. But yeah, I think it's now coming down to the final few corners. Frelick is on course to take his 3rd win of this season so far.
Yeah, he's got to get two more corners to go. And Simon Frelick from the Hydro Race Racing Forces is going to come round Curva Misano. He's going to take the win at Misano. He's going to wrap it up. Simon Frelick is your winner. Job done for him. Lee Aberdeen tucked in right behind him. What's happening with Swemstra and Oleswinski? It is Swemstra. Luca Varani. Oh, Jimenez a long way back. Luca Varani got that win there. Got that position away from... oh, my God. My words are not working. Luca Varani stayed in front of Tony Jimenez for pretty much most of the race, to be blatantly honest. Ridgway comes home in front of Stefan Dollerer there, and Richard Van Veen and Nguyen are going to be coming over the line as well. Great racing. Story of what could have been. What could have been for Swemstra if he hadn't burnt up right at the beginning? What could have been for Jimenez if he'd passed Varani? What could have been for Oleswinski if he got past for Swemstra? It's a lot of what if, what could haves.
It's the woulda, coulda, shoulda race. I said, you know, it's been for some drivers a bit of a bogey round. They'll probably go, well, I didn't quite like it because I didn't have much chance to overtake. Well, in the first few laps, we had plenty of action. And then things just got to a stable place where people were more concentrating, I think, maybe on getting the cars home and getting points on the board.
Yeah. I think when you've got a short grid, you've got to maximise your points opportunity. And Mackenzie and also Michael LeMay coming over the line here as well. 17th place for Michael. Patrick Williams will be the last one over the line in 18th here. So Patrick Williams going over the line very, very slowly. You can do it.
Come on, you can do it, in the words of Rob Schneider.
There you go. Job done for Patrick Williams there as well. Let's have a look at these results. And it is Simon Frelick, your winner. Lee Aberdeen in 2nd. Kevin Swemstra in 3rd. And you've got Jakub Oleswinski in 4th. Luca Varani held on from Tony Jimenez in 5th, and Jimenez there got 6th, and Dennis Corner and Robert Ridgway with Stefan Dollerer 7th, 8th and 9th, and going in 10th, Richard Van Veen in 11th, Paul LeMay in 12th, Ben Goyette in 13th, with Reno Scattini finishing in 14th. Then you got Giovanni Solito 15th there. Behind that is John McKenzie with Michael LeMay, with Patrick Williams the last of the finishers, and then unfortunately the people that are out here, we've got Lewis Archer, Andrew Brunt, and Mackenzie Roon, Zoltan Zamotta, Bartjan van der Laan. Then you got Macha Bavanga is the last, with Stephen Brown not really taken to the start, and Koji Ito, Eva in laps down there as well. Good race. Not a banger.
No.
But just good.
I think there was a fair decent amount of action. I mean, the first probably 6 to 8 laps was when we really had the intensity go up that level. But then after that, things started to stabilize. Battles start to be a bit more drawn out. But then you have to look at it now that is Simon Felix's 3rd win of the season and also his 4th fastest lap as well. He took one at Road America, took one at Sebring, took one at Fuji. I got my words a bit mixed up, so I have to apologise now when I was talking about Lee Aberdeen, that if Aberdeen was actually 3rd instead of 2nd, he would have actually hit every single step of the podium so far this season. So my bad on that one, folks. It's been a long weekend. It's the 2nd and 3rd 3 broadcasts that myself and James are doing back to back to back today. Nearly equaling our record of, what was it, I think 4 one particular weekend.
Yeah.
So it's a long night, folks. That's all I'm saying.
It definitely is, and it's not finished. There's one more to come. If you want to check out the big brothers from this one as well, we've got the Super Formulas coming up later on, and they're at Misano also, so check them out there as well. But guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us here this evening. We're going to go off and grab a break before we go over to the Super Formulas, the big brothers with the push to passes. Come and join us here live at 11:50 p.m. But for now, guys, I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Alex for the 2nd time of 3. We've got one more to go. Take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.